This is for the Unlock Your Inner Light group. So I'm on top of the mountain here today, 7 a.m. Saturday morning, and Spirit woke me up early and said, go, put your shoes on, run. So I'm all sweaty and feeling those endorphins. And still there is this deep rage inside, and it says, who's the one who's driving this human animal? Who's driving this human animal? As we wake up, as you begin to awaken, it's like Betsy said, I'm starting to realize that I'm holding my breath all the time. I hold my breath all the time. This is awakening. That's what it is to wake up from this sleep. Because when the human animal is driven by our these ego personalities, the attitudes, the blind beliefs, you now know that this is all connected to the human animal's survival's instincts. And so, who's driving this human animal that you're in? The human being that are you even embodying this human being? Are you asleep in there? Are you awake in there? If you're starting to realize that you're holding your breath all the time, you're waking up. If you're starting to realize that this human animal is being driven by those old patterns of, this hopelessness, the depression, the who am I to be able to do anything good, the unworthiness, the habits, the overeating, the TV watching, those habits of like, I don't have the time, I don't have the space. Can you love yourself enough to say no to other people's demands on your time, other people's demands of your energy? Yes, I understand sometimes it's family and kids and we have to be there, but really look and see. On page 7 of your guidebook, there's this part we haven't gotten over yet, and it's time to look at this. It's urgent versus important. Awakening to what is really important to you. Your unique personal self. Don't look at other people. Everybody's different. What's important to you? Can you wake up to what is important to you? Urgencies are of human animal. They're stress related. They're endless urgencies. The mind makes up all these urgencies, right? Everything's urgent. At work, everything's urgent. Everybody wants from you this urgent stuff. And in our mind, there is this belief that I have to respond to the urgencies. And then we get pushed around by the people around us, by the stuff that is around us, by the dirty dishes, by food. We get pushed around by the world. We get pushed around by the ego personalities, by the blind beliefs, by our own attitudes. Are your attitudes driving this human animal, or is it you? If you're hopeless, it's an attitude. The spirit can never be hopeless. The spirit is beyond that. Our true self, my true me, the true me can never be hopeless. The true me can never be depressed. The true me can never be hateful. The true me is love. The true you is this natural, compassionate, loving being who is just pure joy and peace, right? Peace and joy, remember? So, what is urgent is unimportant. Throw it out. All the urgencies, throw them out. What is important is Number one on the list. Put the important things. Reprioritize your life. Reprioritize your day. What's important to you? Is your meditation important to you? Is your practice important to you? My yoga practice every morning is so important to me. I have taught everybody in the house to honor it. If you don't honor my yoga practice, you're not my friend. If you don't honor my yoga practice, you can stand there and talk, and my yoga practice is going to be continuing to do the yoga while allowing you to stand there and talk and whine and do all that stuff that you need to do. It'll be part of my yoga practice. I'm still going to do my yoga practice. And at some point, when I reach the compassion, the heart, I will say to you, my dear, I really need to stay inwardly in my yoga practice right now. I really need like 15 more minutes. And then I will be able to pay attention to what you're saying and really appreciate what you have to tell me. Setting your boundaries. Can you love yourself enough to say no to other people's demands on your time and energy? Letting go of the urgencies. What is urgent? You don't need anything. Even the food is not urgent. Even the crying people around you, it's not urgent. Let them cry, let them whine. Let them be hungry for 20 minutes, half an hour. Let them go rummage through the cupboards themselves. Let them make a mess. What is important and urgent to you? You get to choose. Get yourself into the space where you are fully connected with you. Run away from everybody. Run away so you have your space. They'll survive. They'll survive. Don't worry. Sit down. Write down on your list what is important on one side and what is urgent on the other side. Become aware what has been pushing you around. And become aware of who has been driving the human animal. This incredibly magnificent, brilliant machine that you're in. Who's driving it? Because you're not in the driver's seat most of the time, I'd tell you now. I know this because as I'm waking up, I'm realizing more and more how little of the time I'm in the driver's seat. I've been working on myself for 30 years now or so, doing all this self-help stuff, all this meditation stuff, remembering all these past lives of amazing powers and energies and tools and all this stuff. And still, I am not in the driver's seat most of the time. I continue to reprioritize what's important, what's urgent. How can I work through my work and the financial stuff that where I have to be and still have what's important to me be on the top of the list, and what's urgent somehow find a way to throw it on the bottom. Stress is related to the urgencies. The human animal is driven by, when it's driven by those ego personalities, the ones that sabotage you, the ones who tell you, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you won't wake up early in the morning to do that yoga. When you open your eyes in the morning, the ego personalities say, oh, you got to get your sleep. What's important to you. Keep what's important to you at the front of your mind. What's important to you at the foreground. And let what's important to you be so much in front of your eyes that what's urgent falls back. Stay on your path and keep your practice going. Remember, bringing together, now you know, right? When the human animal and human spirit, or spirit being, unite in the loving, beautiful connection in a way where the human animal is guided by the human spirit. Because human spirit doesn't drive the human animal much. It guides it. When you have this union, you now know that this is where wholeness occurs. This is what we're all looking for. We're looking for the partner. We're looking for somebody else to fulfill us, or something else to fulfill us. The truth is, there's only one thing that can truly fulfill us. One thing that can truly fulfill us. This connection to our spirit. When the spirit and the human animal come together in a loving union, that's when that satisfaction, joy, peace, bliss, we have access to everything, all the information of the world, of the universe, and the life energy flows through us more effortlessly and more effortlessly. The more the human spirit drives the human animal, the more life energy flows through us. This life force is limitless, you see? When the ego personalities, when those blind beliefs are in the driver's seats, they're sucking on your life energy. They're sucking on your body. They don't have access to spirit energy, to the effortless, endless, limitless possibilities of the source of your true being that has unlimited amount of energy. It has so much life force that it's like atomic bomb. It's like the sun. It never ends. You don't run out of energy when you're connected. You're always flowing. But this human animal gets ridden by the ego personalities and the attitudes and the blind beliefs, and they suck its energy. They suck the energy of your being to take care of this amazing being that you're in, that you get to evolve through, to awaken in materiality. That's what you're here to do. That's what we're here for. That's expansion. That's thriving. That's our true purpose. That's what's possible, what's available for us. And so sit down today or tomorrow morning. Don't leave this to after that. It's going to happen either today or tomorrow morning, please. My spirit begs you. And write down this list of important things versus, just draw the line in the center of your paper, and important things versus urgent things. And allow yourself to be honest, fully truthful and honest with yourself. Why is compassion so important? Why do I always talk about compassion? Because when we wake up, it can be devastating. It can be totally devastating to see that we're not driving. We're not in the driver's seat, that we're constantly pushed around. We have barely any part in this experience. That we're holding our breath all the time. That we're not even breathing. That our habits, our attachments are driving this life. They're driving on this path. And our true self is like in this trance, this dream state, like asleep in the back seat or in the trunk of the car. It's devastating to see that the hopelessness, the depression, the anger, the complaining, the blaming, the suffering, that's what's been taking up all the space in our life. It's devastating to see when we're not breathing, when we're holding our breath all the time. This is why compassion is key. Mother Teresa said, to fully awaken, love must be awakened first. I'm paraphrasing her. It's probably something similar to that. You can Google it if you want. Love must first be awakened, because without that loving compassion for ourselves, we can dig ourselves into a deeper hole. We can become even more hopeless and say, fuck it, it's not worth it. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. My trauma through my life is too big. There's too many people living with me. There is too many problems in the world. There is too much suffering that I have to go through. Too many jobs I have that I have to make money and keep everybody afloat. That's where we can get lost, dig ourselves deeper into the hole, and get lost in our own self-loathing, get lost in those ego personalities, the victimhood. The victimhood. Ooh, the ego loves the victim stuff. At least when we're angry, there's energy in us that can push us forward. I suggest get angry about it. I used to have issues with anger because I grew up with an angry dad. And I was afraid of anger. And then I realized, hey, I can use my rage to run up the hill, to connect to my true self. I can use my rage to say no to other people's demands and of my time and of my energy, to other people pushing me around. And it'll be an ugly way of setting boundaries, but at least I'll set some boundaries. And then when I connect to my compassion, I can bring that compassion to myself and others. Use whatever you've got to connect to the important stuff. If you're hopeless, if you're depressed, if you're rageful, oh God, any of those low emotions on the bottom of the scale, use them to set boundaries with yourself, to sit with yourself, to love yourself, to have compassion for yourself. I'm here for you as you're waking up on this journey. Remember, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're all waking up together, and we are all being shocked by this life of asleepness together. So let's have compassion for each other. Let's love each other. Let's have compassion for our own human animal, most importantly. Let's have compassion for even those attitudes and ego personalities. They've been driving the human animal because they were trying to keep it surviving. They try to help it survive. And they have. You're alive. If you're watching this video, you're alive. And you've probably survived because of your ego personalities, attitudes, blind beliefs, whatever's been driving this human animal. Because I can guarantee you, the spirit hasn't been in the driver's seat most of the time. We're not there yet. Very few people on this planet right now are most of the time with their spirit in the driver's seat. And you can tell because their light is so bright. You can tell because they're not touched by this world's BS and needs and stuff anymore. They are beyond this materiality's hold on them. Those are light workers, light beings. And it's up to us to reach that level And that is our true inner desire, of our true inner being's desire. And that's why we're here. We're here to bring the union of the human, animal, and spirit. To let the spirit guide the way. May spirit guide your way. May you love and appreciate and be compassionate with yourself. And may you be inspired to stay with your practice. And the days that you miss your practice, to have compassion for yourself and not beat up on yourself and give up. Instead, to rail up more energy and more love, more light, to stay with your practice even more, to commit to your practice even more. To commit to your practice is to commit to your spirit, is to commit to yourself, to your truth. Without committing to your practice, you just pushed around by the world around you, by the way, however the wind blows, however the economy blows, the family blows. So stay with your truth. Keep waking up. Use your practice. When it's hard, it's good. When the practice is full of suffering, when you're sitting on the cushion or doing your yoga and you are in a place of anger and suffering, it's good because you're clearing things out. When you're sitting on the cushion and you're in the place of bliss and joy, it's good because you're connected to your spirit. You can't get it wrong. There is no bad practice. There is no wrong practice. And practice is the most important thing for us. Can you love yourself enough to say no to other people's demands on your energy and on your life force and on your time? Can you love yourself enough?